Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com.
All right. Continue to maintain the dynamic is really important to that same thing. My safe place includes our dynamic.
Right.
And I expect you to behave the way you always behave.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I'm depressed, I don't want you to get very catering or change your
Right.
demeanor. I want to do the safe space. Let's sit, let's talk. I would love the fire, the collar, but I don't want you every night to be like, are you okay? Looking over at me, checking me out, always watching. I mean, we've dealt with some of that with this injury, and not depression, but with the injury. And it gets a little rough sometimes because I'm like, I'm fine. Yes, I shout out. It's fine. We're fine. You know, I like having you be you.
Right. And that shows the consistency, and that shows the foundation back of your dynamic is making sure the dominant stays kind of in the same mindset, in the same way that they put themselves out there, and the way that they show theirself. That shows that strong foundation from the dom that I'm still good. I'm still here. This is where I'm at, you know, and kind of help build the submissive back up to where they need to be.
The other thing is I read a lot.
What?
I really enjoy reading, and maybe one of the things you can do is find a book on like self-help, self-healing, not necessarily about depression,
Correct.
but about fixing depression,
Right. Coping skills.
Yeah, if that works. Or me, I read to let my brain shut off. So maybe romance or stupid, silly novels or something like that, that'll allow your submissive to laugh and whatever. Find something that's like the funniest book you can find and get it for them and let them sit in your lap and or next to you or on the couch or whatever, and read some of the funny part out loud. Like that would be a lot of fun for me. Right.
That is, and with the internet, you know, we got pretty much everything at your fingertips. So yeah, it as a dom, spend your time researching this kind of stuff and getting ideas for materials like it for them to read.
I mean, if they're like the self-help stuff, I think is really a good idea. But like maybe once a week, they have to write something that they read online that is something that they didn't realize that is part of their depression or making them upset.
Right. Gotcha. So changing up your BDSM tools. So, you know, again, the listener that emailed us, you know, did mention that they're submissive. They feel that their submissive is having a hard time getting to subspace. You know, and of course, as a man and as a dom, he is now questioning himself. Is she in her head about all this other stuff, or, you know, am I not doing things right? Am I not doing them good enough? So it is impacting both of them throughout all of this. So something to keep in mind when you notice things like that. And also depending on your dynamic and your relationship and your negotiations and your consent and all of this that you have already hopefully worked up and have figured out. I know for us as our dynamic, we've said it before, I'm going to say it again now. I basically can mix things up and change things how I want to without having to ask for consent.
Yeah, we don't do
We
negotiation
don't do
every time we do
negotiations every time.
anything.
I know
You have
I
blanket.
know your hard limits.
Yeah.
I know there's certain things that I absolutely cannot do. I know there is some soft limits that occasionally I can, get close to that line and push a little bit. But basically, I have open consent from you. I can do what I feel would be best for you at that time. So if you have routines, if you're using floggers, if that's the only implement you're doing, maybe mixing it up some, find different places to hit, find different angles to put them in. It was kind of a good reaction the first time that I turned you around on the cross and had you facing me.
Right.
That was in front of a crowd during a demonstration
Right.
at Club Tempted when the thought crossed my mind. I mean, I'm always, I hit your ass, I hit your back, hit the back of your legs, I do all this, but it felt like it was monotonous. I was doing the same thing over and over and over, and all of a sudden the light bulb went off in my head. Wonder how she would feel if I turned her around, started flogging her chest, and so boom, that's what I did.
Yes.
I knew I didn't have to ask for consent because I knew if I turned you around and you didn't like it, you would say for it out. We would go back, but it's changing up your routines. It's pushing the limits just a little bit further.
Sometimes in order to hit subspace, if we are in our heads too much because of depression, worry, thoughts of other things,
Right.
sometimes you have to push our limits harder,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll break us over that edge,
Right.
and bring you somewhere new. And if it's not about hitting the limits or it's trying to make things a little bit more exciting, a
Right.
little bit more bitey, or using a brand new implement that you purchased specially for that night.
Right.
One of the things I was talking about was the cupping, the suction cup cupping.
Right.
Oh my God, that would be like for the first time user, something amazing. It wasn't expensive because your cups were all plastic.
Correct.
And that would be just something totally different.
New.
Get them out of their headspace into something else.
Right. But that also, once again, falls back on what type of dynamic and negotiations you all have. Not everybody has that type of total free consent like I do with you. So take that into considerations. You can amplify what you have, what has been consented on. You can amplify that in a multitude of ways.
Right.
But just bringing in a new implement or bringing in a new set of toys. Some people don't have that total control like I do. And that's just the point I'm trying to get across. Again, the cupping, it's not harmful. It doesn't hurt. It just provides suction. Depends on how much suction you put on it. It can cause pain. But for the most part, what I did really was very minimal of pain.
I had marks everywhere.
Yes, because of the suction. Yes, you did have marks.
I had little suction cups all over them. I just remember that it does leave marks.
Oh, yes, it does. But again, keep in mind what type of relationship, what your dynamic is.
Well, obviously the dom's going to do that, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that as long as you're within those negotiated, there's still ways to push, because otherwise what'll happen is your relationship is stale and the submissive is controlling everything.
Right.
So in a dynamic,
take what has been negotiated on. You can amplify that. You can make it edgier. Just get creative. Find different ways. Find different positions to put them. If your submissive is always used to being on a cross, bend them over the bed.
Yep.
Put them on the kitchen table. Put them on a coffee table. There is consensual ways that you have already done that you can push the limits and amp it up and make it a little edgier.
Yep.
So that's the point I was trying to get across, is just don't be monotonous. Don't do the repetitiveness. Don't do the same things over and over and over again, especially if they're having trouble getting into subspace. Get creative, find a different way of using those implements. Positions work very well. As use the same flogger, but it's going to feel different from you on a cross versus laid out on a coffee table or something. It's the change up of
Yes.
routines.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally. So what happens, sir, if the dominant is depressed?
Well, we've been there a time or two. It is a little trickier. It is possibly going to be a little harder for the submissives to react to the dominant being depressed. I know you didn't have a problem with it, by the communication, by the, you setting me down, going, look, I understand this happened. I understand you are feeling this way, but also in return, you feeling this way is causing me to feel this, this, and this. I don't feel that all submissives will be able to do that. So hopefully you do have a community that you can reach out to. I know within the last 2 or 3 months, I know I've been asked by other DOMs, hey, you want to go out and get a drink? Do you need to get out and talk? I know I have asked other DOMs, hey, do we need to meet up somewheres and sit down and talk? Having other people in your life that can reach out to try to help is huge.
Right.
Having somebody for another dominant to talk about dominant things.
Right.
It is very hard for a dominant to talk to their submissive about dominant things that they're dealing with inside of them. So having another dom that can relate or that can help guide or give advice or ideas.
Strangely, I would even say in this scenario, if you do not have a community close to you or haven't reached out to your community, FetLife would be another place that you could ask questions and maybe get some responses that will help you
Yes.
on being a dominant, even when things are rough for you.
You mentioned FetLife, Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook groups that I'm a member of.
Me too. BDSM ones.
Some are geared more towards dominance, some are geared more towards dominant submissive relationships, but there's a lot of Facebook groups. There is FetLife. There is other sources out there that you can go to, to find information or to get answers. For me, the biggest thing for me to try to keep me in a positive mindset and to not get down in the dumps, encouragement.
Right.
Encouragement from your submissive is huge. There is times that, we started working out together back in March, April timeframe. And we started doing it together every day. We found this friend of ours that put us on this psycho diet that I called. And so we changed.
And then psycho exercise.
Yeah. And so we changed our exercise routines to this. And then, the car crash that she was in. Now I'm doing it by myself.
Yes. I cannot do any of those things.
It is hard to want to keep up doing the exercises.
When I'm sitting on the couch looking at you.
Correct.
But I tell you how good you look.
It's the encouragement. It was last night while we was in bed, while I was towering over you. You talking about how wide my shoulders are now. It was that little stuff that has now remotivated me.
Right.
Because last week out of the 5 days, I think I worked out twice.
You did it 3 times, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with your word then. Because I thought it was only twice, but it's, the losing the motivation, the kind of, why am I doing this kind of mindset that I was in. But it's those little things that you didn't even realize what you was doing last night when you said it.
Right.
But it was that little bit of encouragement or noticing the changes in my body that now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get back at it, ready to get back to doing my workout routines and continuing down that path.
As a submissive, I think it's really hard to communicate to your dom. Even though I'm able to do it, it's very difficult sometimes because you're not trying to correct the behavior, you're not trying to change anything, But if our dynamic starts falling apart because you can't maintain it, now it's a lot rougher.
Right.
So I think that we have limited options in that scenario
Correct.
because I can't put you over my lap.
Correct. 'Cause
and
that'll never happen.
spank your butt.
Because that will never happen.
I
No.
can't make you write words. I can't have you write
Right.
sentences saying I love you and I will, So you have to think that I have ways to do this, which is A, communicate to you straight.
Right.
B, write it, like journal or something
Yep.
to you that I'm seeing these changes and I'm scared or worried or nervous for you. Another option would be we've set up where I can come to you with my collar.
Yep.
That's a way to let you know that I need to be in submissive space,
Right.
and that it's kind of a way to let you know something is going on.
Right.
So I can for us it's more sexual maybe, but it could also be used as a reminder
Right.
that I'm your
Absolutely.
submissive.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be our fail safe.
Correct.
And the other thing is, because we do have a community, I could reach out to one of the dominants or the submissives and just say, hey, Master Nick is having some issues and I don't know how to address it. So can you reach out to him, or maybe me and the submissive set up a date night for us and you guys have to come?
Well, I mean, yeah, that could work too.
to
I thought
get
you was
you
fixing
out.
to say, like, I'll set us up a play date with somebody. Like, no,
No.
you're not
If
doing
me
that.
and the submissive, if me and another
Right.
submissive
You
say,
all
hey,
plan
we're going to
you all
do
plan a night out.
a night out, you guys have to come
Right.
because, we're going to whatever. And then that way her and I can be talking, or,
Right.
and you can be with the other dominant.
Right.
So I'm thinking those are the ways. And then, final straw, because I know people have reached this point in their relationships where they come to you and they ask either to have their day collar removed.
Yep.
If we're not going to continue the dynamic, if this isn't going forward, then we need to either remove the day collar or remove it and return it to you.
Right.
I think that breaks a part of the relationship, or can, if you don't ask, if you just take it off.
If you just take it, right. That would definitely do it. But it is,
It's
that would
the
be a
final. It's
that
not
would be
like
the final thing
yeah,
that's went on for months, possibly years.
You've tried different
You've tried
things.
different things, and yes, I would hope that would be a last resort.
Yeah, you don't
effort.
want to. It's not like I'm threatening you. I'm actually coming to
Right.
you and saying we've reached the point that this is broken.
Right.
I believe that the day collar has to come off.
Right.
Or if it's over, then you just put the day
Right.
collar. I
Now-
mean, there's only so much. Honestly, you really want to support your partner and you
Mhm.
want to be there. But if the depression becomes clinical, if you're really cycling down, if it's impacting our relationship and it's becoming unsustainable, and you've tried talking, you've tried counseling, we've tried everything, then there reaches a point
Right.
where you have to make that
have to do
decision
that.
that
Yep.
it's healthier for you.
I agree. And it, luckily for us, most everything has been resolved through, communication and conversation.
Yes.
There was one time where I was kind of in the slumps for several days there, and you one day just came and said, look, I understand this happened. I know how you're feeling, but this is how it's affecting you, and this is how it's affecting me. And that kind of shed some light onto where I was at. And, I agree.
Being understood.
Right.
I think part of it is just being understood.
Right.
A dominant doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. It
Right.
just means that you're in control.
Yep.
Because I give that up, but you still have all the feelings
You
of
still have everything going on in life. You're still going to have your feelings. You're still going to have your ups, your downs. You're still going to make some mistakes. Exactly. That's where I was going to make mistakes, and stuff like that happens. And again, it's good to experience all of this, because that's how you learn how to cope and what works best for you. The first time you experience depression or a negative mentality, you're questioning everything. You don't know what direction to go. You don't know where you need to be. Everything is blurry. So experiencing this and learning your ways of coping, which is going to be different than everybody else's,
Right.
but getting through that and building yourself back up, it's like a skill. After so many times, it becomes a skill that you have developed and understood and know how to get through it. Sometimes it comes to you and sometimes you reach out for help, but always remember to keep the communication open.
Right.
Community is a huge thing to have for reasons like this. I know we have a great community. I know we have people that we can fall back onto. If our communication isn't working or we're not succeeding at it or things continue to spiral, we have several other options that we can go to that work for us.
I'm thinking about the fact that as a submissive, if I'm depressed, it's going to impact us.
Yep.
You can't do certain things. You're going to be more careful.
Correct.
But I think that if a dominant is depressed, it's got to be harder because you're not just managing your life, you're managing your submissive.
Yep. And both immediately crumble.
It crumbles. So it's a spiral, and that's why open communication.
Right.
And again, our communication sometimes looks like a note in your lunchbox that says, I am not happy with this type of thing. So I think that you just have to do what works for you. You have to work through it.
Right.
You have to acknowledge that it's a problem. I think some people try to tuck it down and pretend it's not there. I knew after the accident that I needed to talk to somebody. And it's worse now. Like, you would think that the accident was the worst part. 4 months later, now we're both dealing with, we're done with it. We're ready to move on. My body isn't healed yet. So it's a little bit more. And I think that the longer it goes on with any couple, the worse it's going to get.
Oh, yeah.
So when you see it, approach it immediately, because I think that's how you fix it.
Try to head it off as soon as possible.
Yep.
All right. And with that, hopefully we brought some insight into people's lives. I know everybody is experiencing different emotions, feelings, thoughts.
There's
every
a lot
day.
going on in the world.
There's a lot going on. Some positive, some negative, some neutral, but everybody's affected somehow, some way. Again, communication, keep it open. Community, find you a community. Find your group of friends that you can converse with, that you can bounce ideas off of. And as always, if you can't talk to your partner, and if you can't find your community, send us an email, reach out to us on social media. Let us know. We are more than willing to share ideas, to give suggestions.
And we're totally
advice.
not experts.
We are not experts, but we have experienced a lot over the last several years between us. Again, our friends, we have always reached out and helped our friends. Our friends have reached out to help us when needed. And any advice or ideas or thoughts that we can give it help, we are more than welcome to give it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, take care of yourself, take care of your partners. Make sure to bring out the positive in each person every day. It is a rough world out there, so you got to live through it. That's life.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add? I've kind of just rambled on a whole bunch of shit here.
I believe you covered it all, Master Nick.
All right. With that, you all have a great week. We can't wait to see you next week for another topic. Make sure and come back. Thank you.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, You can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.